Welcome back to another video, Jets fans. We saw the Jets make a move the other day, signing wide receiver Josh Reynolds to a one-year deal, and I like this move a lot. I really did like everything about the Josh Reynolds signing. He knows the system, he's a good blocker, relatively cheap, great depth piece option, overall just a solid addition to a weak wide receiver room in my opinion. So with that being said, in this video, we're going to be talking about 5 other free agent targets the Jets should consider signing. First on this list is former safety from the Indianapolis Colts, Julian Blackmon. Julian Blackmon is coming off a solid season, playing in 16 games, posting 86 total tackles and 4 interceptions. We already signed Andre Cisco to a one-year deal, and I loved that move. I wanted the Jets to sign him, but I also want them to sign 2 safeties in free agency. I think Blackmon makes a ton of sense for the Jets deep because our defense was really bad last year, especially in the secondary. Yes, I know the D-line was horrible too, and definitely affected the whole D as a whole, but everyone was bad, especially the safeties. We had no guys that can tackle, no ball hawking guy, and I think this would be a perfect fit because Blackmon is very good at ball hawking, and Cisco is a great tackler, so I think it would be a pretty solid safety duo in my opinion. And we didn't have to address safety in like the early rounds, like round 2, and taking a guy like Xavier Watts, and can take a guy projected to go round 5, just say like R.J. Mickens. And just the thought of having 2 solid safeties in Cisco and Blackmon is a good thing. He would be relatively cheap and definitely a solid addition to a much-needed position. Number 2 on this list is former Packer, Viking Brown, and most recently Lions edge Za'Darius Smith. If the Jets were to hand out one massive contract, I would go after Smith. To me, this makes a ton of sense. Our D-line is really thin now. After the trading of JFM last season, which I still don't understand, our defense became so much worse, especially our edges. Our edges are probably one of, if not the biggest needs on this team as of right now. As of right now, we only have one true edge, and that's Will McDonald. We have Jermaine Johnson coming off a torn Achilles, so his snap count will be limited, and he probably won't be the same player he was 2 years ago. We have Michael Clemens, who's horrible and is probably going to get cut. We have Braden McGregor and Eric Watts, who have some potential in the league, but probably won't do much in my opinion. To me, this makes the signing so much sense. Has a connection with Glenn as well. Would be a great addition to a really, really weak room. Perfect fit in my opinion. Next on this list is former Brown, Jedrick Willis Jr. To me, this also makes perfect sense. We lost Morgan Moses to the Patriots in free agency and need a right tackle now. We have terrible depth on the O-line, especially tackle. Having a guy like Chukwuma Okorafor, who we just signed, or Max Mitchell or Carter Warren, seems pretty less than ideal. With this potential signing, it opens up more options in the draft as well. We could do something similar to last year when the Jets signed Tyron Smith and drafted Olu, which means we could take Membu at 7, which is probably my preferred choice. We could also land a weapon like McMillan or Tyler Warren, or can trade down even more and get more draft capital, and can land our future right tackle in either rounds 2 or 3, landing a guy like Josh Connolly Jr., Ozzie Shapiro, who I really like, or Holland Pierce. I think this signing would not only finish up the O-line, but could let us do multiple things in the draft. Would also be relatively cheap and a massive upgrade at right tackle. Next on this list is another former Colt, and that is tight end Mo Alie-Cox. I absolutely love his game even for the 31-year-old. He was underutilized this past year, which is why his stats weren't that good. To me, this makes a ton of sense as well. He's an upgrade over who we currently have in that tight end room. He'd literally be tight end 1 as of right now. He'd probably be the best receiving tight end and definitely the best blocking one. He's definitely an upgrade and wouldn't cost much. Similar to Jedrick Willis, it does lead to more options in the draft, like will the Jets still take Warren at 7? It leads to other options like Membu possibly, McMillan, or another trade down possibly. We could even trade or cut a guy like Rucker to make room for him and Mo Alie-Cox to be that tight end 2 or 3, or be primarily used as a blocking tight end, something he's very good at. But yeah, to me, this does make a ton of sense, even after the Smart signing. It's definitely an upgrade to a weak tight end room. Lastly on this list, we're adding a wide receiver to the room, and that would be wide receiver Tyler Lockett, former Seattle Seahawk. I think this move makes sense for the Jets as we do need wide receiver help. Only thing is he might retire. I'm not entirely sure. But anyways, this move makes sense as it's an immediate upgrade to our wide receiver. He'd already be the second best wide receiver on the team, and just like Jedrick Willis and Mo Alley Cox, this leads to many draft options as well. We can land Mambu, Warren, or a wide receiver again like McMillan, Matthew Golden, Emeka Egbuka at 7. We are going to need some new wide receivers, as most likely Lazard is getting cut post June 1st, and Josh Reynolds most likely being his replacement. And Xavier Gipson to me is a 50-50. I definitely could see him getting cut, but I could also see him staying. I do think he's going to get cut, though, because we did resign Kene and Wangu to be that kick returner, and that's primarily where Gipson is used. So I do think Gipson is getting cut. So as of right now, the wide receiver room without Gipson and Lazard, just say, would be Garrett Wilson, Malachi Corley, Tyler Johnson, Josh Reynolds, and Irvin Charles. But Irvin Charles has that torn ACL and is mainly a special teams menace. So we really have 4 wide receivers, and 3 of them are just okay at best. And the idea of having a vet like Tyler Lockett in the room would be smart in my opinion. He's an upgrade, wouldn't cost much as well. Or if he would be, it'll be like in the 1 year for about $8 million per year is my guess. It could lead to many options in the draft as well, like Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel. Jalen Royals is another guy I like, projected to go around 2 or 3, who would also be an upgrade. But yeah, the idea of having a guy like Tyler Lockett in the locker room would be great. He has a great character, something that Glenn would absolutely love. A player who is very safe, in my opinion. You can trust him anywhere on the field. So yeah, I think Tyler Lockett would be an ideal signing for the Jets and something they definitely should consider. So yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think of these 5 additions the Jets should target. If the Jets can land any of these guys, I'd be very happy. They all make sense, would be relatively cheap, and are all upgrades over who we currently have in that room. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and go Jets!